Hello and welcome back to another episode of Run to Done. Tonight's guest, I'll go with the AI intro first. It says that Jenny is a woman that wakes up early before alarm clocks, which means they don't exist. Calls it relaxing. She claims she doesn't run that much. She says she's boring. But what Nikki doesn't know is I've known Jenny since uni days, well before I was a runner, probably I would say 20 odd years. So this is going to be an interesting chat.
I think it's longer than that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I graduated 2001 and it was around about then. So
Okay.
yeah, 25-ish years. So welcome to the show, Jeni Rees-Jenkins.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on, Jenny.
No, it's nice to be here. I like to talk about running, so it's good.
We're so glad that you agreed to come on, so thank you. The first question that we do ask every single guest is, how did you first get into running?
Good question. I forget quite a lot actually about that because it's been so long now, I suppose. But I was trying to look up when my first race was, and I think it was Balmoral 10K in 2009. But at that point, I was running before then. I used to work for Scottish Water and did a lot of walking. And I used to go to the gym. I lived in Aberdeen and used to swim a lot in the old Bonnycord baths before it closed. And running was like the thing that you did when you went to the gym to warm up. So I'd always go on the treadmill for like 5 minutes and then go on something else. So that's all running really was for a very long time. And for some unknown reason, in 2009, I did the Balmoral 10K, and I was destroyed. I remember being particularly destroyed, and in fact, maybe it was before then. But anyway, and I pretty much quit after that and decided that I didn't really want to do it again because it's a bit sore, and that was that. So really running now, to me, obviously I run a lot, is about, first it became to lose weight after both my children. So my first daughter was born in 2008, my second was in 2010, and I wanted to lose quite a bit of weight. So running was a really quick way to do it around juggling family life. I live in a small village, Inch, in Aberdeenshire, and the gym is open here some of the time, but not consistently when I was awake. So yeah, just fell into running. So yeah, that's it. So I probably properly started in 2011.
And you were saying there about you got into running just to lose the weight after having the kids, and I resonate with that because my own fitness journey, it started out doing the workouts. It was COVID times when I got back into it. And the one thing that I noticed was when I'd like toned up and just felt better in myself, I was a lot more confident. Did you feel that in yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been quite open about mental health over the years, and as a young adult and through uni times had really struggled with that and had to use medication to stay out of the dark places that my brain was putting me into. And I guess being a new mum, it's really, really difficult to stay out of that. And I think I'd always been aware that the skills that I developed to stay mentally healthy were really difficult to manage when I was also very tired and then having to look after small people. So running did two things. It gave me that balance where I could process things and try and get back what I needed that I used to rely on medication for and didn't want to do that again. But also gave me an opportunity to get that runner's high, which in itself becomes addictive. So I think especially for people that have had, well, I mean, we're all runners, and I meet a lot of runners especially in ultra events that have a similar state, that they feel they need that as well in their life. I think that's why I enjoy running as well, from that community aspect where we can openly speak about how we feel, and that actually sometimes things are really rubbish and it is quite difficult to manage adulting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree. It's good for making you feel better. Everyone should run.
And you said you've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
Do they run at all?
No. No. Jazz is now, how old is she now? 16. So my eldest is going to be 18 this year, and my youngest is going to be 16 this year. And Jazz is at a point where I think she could be a runner, because she started Couch to 5K and actually really enjoyed it. And that was her way of sort of making herself feel better in avoiding all the pressures that you get of being a young human being. I was going to say a young female, but actually from working with children of, all genders, I'm aware that everybody has, body image is something that all young people, well, adults as well, struggle with. So, yeah. I think maybe running's a positive way of doing that these days, staying healthy. Maybe not the losing weight bit, but being healthy.
And you've been running since 2011, which I would imagine you've done a fair few events in that time.
I have,
Do you have any standouts or any favourites that you have?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've run quite a lot of different disciplines now. So, favourites. I really like the hill races, the long classic hill races, if I'm honest now. I mean, if you'd asked me when I started running, that wouldn't have been the answer, but certainly where I am now, I really enjoy those. In particular, like the Trotternish Hill Race and the Ridge in Skye, and the Two Breweries Hill Race near the Borders is pretty good. Both lovely events. Favourite all-time event for me would be Lakes in a Day in the Lake District. I really like that event. It's the event that I like as much as the route. Yeah, I've got quite a lot. I don't know. It depends what week I'm on. I did the Sidlaw Ultra last year. I really like that race, so I might do that one again.
You're the first person I've heard that says that they've liked.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's quite tough.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really great. It's like it's marked-ish. So I like that element of it. Like you really do have to have your wits about you. And that's not anything to do with the race directors. It's just a really difficult route to mark. Like there's no way you could fully mark that perfectly unless it was like a sky race. And I liked that it has a lot of hill in it as well. And you've got to be quite self-sufficient. So that would be the things for me. If navigating, self-sufficiency, and it being a bit hard would be the 3 things I would look for in a good event now.
And you talk about getting into hill races. How does one go about that? Because it's something that equally intrigues and terrifies me.
Oh, okay. So there's 2 things. One, for me, I wasn't really into hills. Michael can testify to that. I think one day I'd said to Mike that I really wanted to do some hill running. And remember we went up Lord Arthur's Hill and you were like, right, we'll run up it 8 times. Now I didn't know how far this hill was going to be. So we met and we started the run. And then we ran, I think we did it 4 times, and it's I'm sure it's a mile and a half from the bottom to the top. And it's like a consistent climb. And when we were running, I'd had enough. And I think I'd probably said some rude things to Mike about how I felt about all that. And on our way back, we met another friend who's like quite a big hill runner. And we'd said what we did, and his face was just like, wow, you need to do some hill races if you can do that. And that's kind of when it first twigged about that time, that actually, even though it felt awful, I quite liked it. Of late, it's been about statistics for me a little bit because, well, two, I'm getting older and finding it harder to run, competitively especially. And second, not many women do hill races. Like the number of women that are competing in hill races is quite small. And I see that in my local community. And also when you look at the long classics, the number of women that are finishing it's a very small number. And I just felt like, why is that? So before I can have an opinion on it, I'd quite like to try it out. So I tried a couple of years ago to do all the long classics, but I didn't manage to do that, but just because of timings. But I did complete the series, and they are hard. They're really hard to run, but they're not impossible. You just have to train differently. So I wouldn't advise anyone just go in and do one. Not a long classic without having done some of the shorter hill races, but they are really, really good fun, and the people that run them are lovely. Yeah, and recceing. I think Girls on Hills are doing a good job. They're starting to do more recce's for women particularly, but are sort of opening the doors to any adults that is a bit unsure about it. But yeah, I like it. I like that they're hard. More women need to try hard things.
I think definitely, like as you say, not a lot of women are on the hills and doing the races, and I don't know, maybe they're thinking same as me. I can't do that. I would get eaten alive, but you know what? Just go and do it.
Yeah, and I am at the end. I'm a lot of the times I am back of the pack, and I use the start early. That you can start an hour early in a lot of them now. That's really great. I use that effectively.
Now that you've told us that you really love long classics, can you go back to the start and tell us what long classics are?
Yeah, I think I can't remember what the specifics are, but it's to do with the height and the distance of the race. So it has to be usually over 20k would be about a normal distance. It can be anything from 20k to 20 miles. And the height would normally be, there is like a thing on the Scottish Hill running page that tells you the actual definition of a long classic, but it's to do with how much ascent there are. So like ones I enjoy would be 18 to 20 miles, and you would be covering about 3 to 5,000 feet of ascent in that race. It's mostly off path, quite tussocky terrain, river crossings, climbing over things that you probably wouldn't normally climb over. Yeah, they're good.
Is Stuck a Crow in a long?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's great. It's a really good one. Yeah, it's
tough.
hard.
They all look tough.
Yeah, I've done a lot of them with Beardy, who I don't know what his handle is on social media, but Graham Kelly is his real name. Yeah, that's it. I've done a lot of them with him. I think he enjoys how much I moan and get cramp and have to shout at him a lot. And he's amazing. He just keeps doing it every year. But I mean, my big life goal had been to do the Ben Nevis Hill Race, and I achieved that 2 years ago. So yeah, that was a good day. A good day indeed. And that's not actually a long classic, but it's still a hard race. So the Ben Nevis race is classed as a medium, I think. It's not the distance is only 11 miles, perhaps.
The other thing you said was about statistics. One statistic that I'm aware of is how many races that you've done. Are you counting them?
Yeah.
What numbers can you?
Oh God, yeah, I do know that. I have that here. I keep it in my diary all the time. So I've done 42 marathons and 86 ultras so far. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What's the most you've done in 1 year, Jenny? Have you got that?
Yeah, because that was in 2016. Because I did a big year for charity, where I had to run like really far that year. And I ran that year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 9 marathons and 12 ultras that year. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy year. Yeah.
That's
Daft.
incredible.
Yeah, I almost broke myself, to be fair. So I haven't done that again since. But yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah.
I'm blown away by that, Mike.
But that's small fry in the circles that are, it's just the D33 on Saturday, and I was marshalling at that, and I think there's like Alan Cormack was there, and Neil McCritchie was there. I asked one of them how many ultras they'd done, and I'm sure it was almost 200. One of them.
I think Alan's and that's 120.
Yeah, so it must have been Neil then. Yeah, so I'm sure it was like 190 something he was at the moment. And that's just counting the official ones. Like, Alan regularly will go and run, 50, 60 miles on a Saturday morning. So, yeah, it's crazy, really. I guess it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, Jenny, how old were you when you'd done your first ultra?
I did it my first one was in 2013, I think. Is that right? Or 2014. It was one of those years. So, yeah, it's been 12, 13 years.
And how old were you at that point?
So I'm going to be 50 next year. So, yeah, I was in my late, can't do the maths. How old am I now? I'll be 49 this year. And that's 13 years ago.
Let's say late 30s.
39, 36. Yeah.
I think that's quite a common age for people to start.
Oh yeah, it's endurance.
Yeah.
Especially for women. Like physiologically speaking, we perform better in long distance just due to, many factors. But as we get older, like women do tend to do quite well. Yeah, it's good.
And for us ladies, as we are getting older, menopause is becoming more and more of a wider known topic, and thankfully more research is coming into it now in all aspects of life, sport, not just running. For anyone out there, especially for men, how does one navigate running and going through menopause, and what do I have to look forward to in the next few years?
Yeah, so a really good question. So it's a bit of a tricky one. Obviously menopause is linked to reproductive hormones, and I don't know how much you know about that. I don't know how much you know about your biology. I'm a biology teacher, so I teach this quite regularly in How You're Human. But we have a limited period where we're able to reproduce as women. So I don't know, you've got like, I know average is it 400 eggs. So once they've run out, your hormones change. So progesterone and estrogen levels drop. And the problem that has on running is, obviously you've got the symptoms that creates, and lots of women have different things. I get really bad skin, or had really bad skin. It's still quite bad actually. So like eczema flare-ups. Some people get hot flashes. I've never had that, thankfully. Anxiety. If you've like a lot of stuff. It's like, do you know what it's like? Like my teenage self came back. And I was just like, what is this? This is ridiculous. Memory, that's my current big issue. And then there's just like fatigue, like really fatigued. And it is all linked to those hormones. So I'm now, so perimenopause is really difficult for a lot of women, and that can start anytime, usually in your 40s, late 40s, and mine started probably about 45, and then after you haven't had your periods for a whole year, you'd be classed as being postmenopause. Like, so it's a definitive day. So that's where I am now, and I take some estrogen, which helps with all of that, and some progesterone. They're the two hormones. So that it's a really complicated thing of working it out, but it has played absolute havoc with my running. So the only, like, estrogen affects your bones, and my mum has osteopenia, which is when your bones aren't as strong. So like I'm quite obsessed with bone density. So hill running's quite good for bone density, thankfully. And resistance training, going to the gym, all these things. I've joined the gym and I'm trying to do a bit more of that. Well, I didn't realize it's linked to your heart as well. So I find that like sometimes my heart rhythm can be really off. And that's like something that I only learned about that recently. There's a really good book by a woman called Stacey Sims. It was Debbie Martin Consani had flagged it. And I got that. So anybody, like I would recommend all women to read that book, because it actually changed like my whole life. I think her and Karen had been like shouting out about this amazing book. It's called Next Level. And there's another one as well called Roar, which is another book that's sort of quite female based and all about exercise and running. So trial and error. You've just got to read as much as you can about it. And thankfully, there's loads of info out there. Like Damien Hall's just written a new book. I haven't read it, so I can't endorse it really. But it's all about, there's a whole section in it apparently about menopause and how to deal with running when you're old. And he also talks about the male perspective, which is often forgotten, because I think getting old is a thing for men as well. And I think we're kind of only now just starting to be better at talking about that as well. I know some of my friends joke about having the menopause, but I think there is scope there when women are moaning, blaming everything on menopause. I think men have their own issues with running when they get older. So yeah, sorry, I was a bit of a rant.
Not at all.
I quite like talking about the menopause because it's dominated my life for the last 5 years.
Well, we haven't had anybody on talking about them before, so
okay, yeah,
feel free.
It's quite common now. Like, I do find that I help out actually I don't help out as much as I did, but I've got friends that are running Jog Scotland groups in the village, and we kind of work together. I'm in a running club. I'm a coach actually in a running club locally, and we've got a partner Jog Scotland group. And quite often when we have like a leaders get together, men and women, I may add, we do talk a lot about who's on what collagen and who's been taking creatine and what the best brand is. Long gone are the days of where's the best nightclub. It's now like, what supplements are you taking? But I must say, vitamin D, we don't take on enough vitamin D in Scotland, and especially with menopause, vitamin D is a big issue. So that would be like, if you don't agree with taking anything, but you will take something, then I would advise that. Either get more sunshine or take some supplements, because it's huge. Makes a huge difference, especially for like your bone density as well.
Who is your running club, Jenny?
I am in the Inch Trail Running Club, ITRC. So yeah, we're 10 years we've been affiliated with Scottish Athletics this year, so that's a biggie. So yeah, it's good. We're a small group.
Good things come in small packages.
Correct.
And to pull the conversation away from menopause,
Yeah.
Bob Graham round.
Ugh.
It's a dirty word, dirty
Yeah.
name. Bit of a nemesis for you. Tell us, how many times have you attempted it, why it hasn't worked out, and going before that, why the Bob Graham round?
Wow. I love that round. I love it and hate it equally. So, yeah, I've attempted it properly twice. And then when did we go down? Can you remember? How long ago was that? It was a long time ago now, anyway. The first two attempts I properly did were after COVID, actually. You know, when lockdown lifted and you could travel to England again, the weekend after that is when I attempted it. And it was, I swear on my life, it was the fittest I've ever been in my life because I ran the most consistently I've ever run through lockdown. I was really, really, really ready for it. But it went really pear-shaped. But I'd spent 10 years recceing it. And the reason I was asking Mike is Mike and my friend Rob Sinclair, or our friend Rob Sinclair, and another friend, Kev Stephen, all came with me. I managed to convince them to come and help me recce the majority of the route. So we went down for a week and spent a lot of time there. And my family all come from the Lake District. So my mum grew up there and my uncle was there and he told me about it. And he joked and said that he didn't think I could do it. And he didn't, do you know, I spoke to him recently. He passed away a year ago, and we actually joked about it before he died. I went to visit him when he was not great, and I reminded him of it. And actually, he did laugh because he actually backtracked and said that he now knew that I was capable and that he really looked forward to the day that I did it. And that was almost like a curse because I'd kind of put it to bed a little bit after my two failed attempts. And then now I was like, oh no, now I really do need to do it again because you know how we have this emotional attachment to people in our lives and we feel we need to do it for them. So it's back. But yeah, I did it. I tried it twice. The first time was just after lockdown, and I did it with a few friends. It's quite complicated. Do you know much about it, Nikki?
Not a tremendous amount, but I do know it's a round. And you've got the other rounds like Charlie Ramsey, Paddy Buckley.
That's right.
I know about those.
Yeah, so it's the easiest of the three. It's the one that you can run the most. Yeah. So you know, it is a nice one to do. And it also, the access points are really quite handy for your crew. Like you can meet people like quite reasonably. So I had like a really good team. I had I had people on every leg. It was great, but I didn't eat enough. And when I don't eat enough, I get really sick. And I just was so ill. It was horrendous. And on the third leg, so it's kind of in the middle, I just could not stop being sick. And then it started to snow, like really heavily snow. And I just was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm actually going to get into trouble because I'm not, like, I hadn't really thought through snow at that point. So I bailed. And it's really easy to bail at that point. And then I went back to try it again at another time and decided to do it the other way around, which is genius now because I didn't succeed that time, mostly because of the weather. It was very hot and I was struggling in the heat and I hadn't run in the heat for a long time and I couldn't, like, in order to cool down enough that I didn't feel ill and to keep moving, I would lose the time and then I wouldn't have made it in under 24. And I was so close to doing it that it slipped away too quickly. And there would be no way. I knew I didn't have the ability to make it up. and I would have ended up finishing, I think my predicted time would have been closer to 30 hours by the time I would have finished. So yeah, I didn't really want to do that. So yeah, failed twice. Third time lucky, some would say.
Our recce was 2016 because I've got a photo on Facebook of Kev looking shocked as he does when he takes a selfie of himself, and myself and Rob taps half in the background somewhere near Grasmere.
That'd be about right.
Have you done any of the other rounds on the lakes?
Yeah, so I've done the tea round 3 times. So I did it once in winter with Beardy, and then I did it once in summer with some friends, and then I've done it again another time with some other people. Yeah, so I've done it a few times. Yeah, I've done quite a lot of rounds in the lakes. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, they're good.
With eating, you didn't eat enough. Do you know the reason? Like, did you just forget, or were you just so focused on the actual run? How was that the case?
Oh, I'm just a really lazy eater. Yeah. Like, I'll go for, like, I know, like, I can tell you, like, the textbook, like, what you have to do. Like, I know I need 40 grams every 40 minutes, and like, and I can't eat that much sugar, and it has to be this and that and the other thing. But when it comes down to actually doing it, I used to be quite bad at it. I'm a lot better now. I think that's the other thing about menopause, is that's changed what I can and can't eat. And I'm actually better now at eating, because I hate feeling that miserable now. So it'll be interesting to see actually how I'd get on. I'm not very good, like, I can't even watch, like, when did you do, Mike, you put a video on one day of you like drinking a can of cold soup or something, and like, honestly, that even made me want to be sick. Just watching you drinking that made me feel ill. Like, I just don't have that, like, I can't eat anything. Like, West Highland Way always makes me laugh because people eat things like custard out of a tub and rice puddings, and like, I just can't. Like, it just makes me want to gag instantly thinking about it. So it's taken me like a really long time to find what I can eat, and it's really boring. It's fruit jellies, specifically Marks and Spencer's fruit jellies has got to be posh. Like, and they don't even cost that much really, but I can eat them. And
they've got what, 0 calories in them?
No, I think they're quite good.
I would question it.
Yeah, they're all right. Active Root's good. I quite like Active Root's been a bit of a game changer for me. It works well. And cheese, Baby Bells. I love a Baby Bell, and some crisps. But if I'm doing something like a marathon or something where I've got to actually run fast, I do find those Active Root gels are pretty good. I've just tried them this year or last year. I actually really, really like them. They're all right. And Torque, I've always used Torque gels since the dawn of time. The rhubarb and custard ones particularly, I can get them. I can cope with that. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll still be rubbish. I'll still probably mess it up. I quite like a pasta pot. You know, like, they're all right. I don't mind them. And yeah, I always forget though. Tried to eat a pot noodle once in Granton when I did the Murray 100. That did not end well. So I won't do that again.
What flavour?
It was chicken and mushroom, which I don't know if I've ever had one of them before, but yeah, it was funny because it was, by the time I got to Granton, like, you've only got like 20 miles left, so you're 80 miles in, and by the time I got to the checkpoint, it's right next to the pub, and there was like this group of young adults being sick outside, and they were on one side of the bench from boozing, and I was on the other side of the bench being sick from a pot noodle. It was so bad. I was like, oh gosh, here we are. It's the evolution of humans. So
the fruit jellies have got about 100 calories per tub, so it'll get you about a mile.
Is that all that's in it? Yeah. They taste good.
I tell you what, Jenny, 100 calories is better than nothing.
Yeah, well, that's probably all I was putting in the last time. I do quite like a bit of Christmas cake on a run. That's a novel one. Yeah.
Right. Bob Graham round obviously hasn't happened, so I would imagine that would be your biggest running achievement when you complete it. But to date, what has been your biggest running achievement?
Probably the Lake Sky Ultra, the first edition. You know, the old school one. Before they took Pinnacle Ridge out, because they have changed it now. But that one, that was awful. Like, it was probably one of the hardest races that I've ever completed. Yeah, and that was really tough. And it was like, I'm just trying to look it up on Strava, because I know I probably wrote some really funny things about it. But it took, like, I think I was quite possibly, yeah, I found it. So it was 37 miles with 14,000 feet of ascent, well, nearly 15,000 feet of ascent, and it took me 13 and a half hours, which is actually quite good. I wasn't very pleased with that at the time, but when I look back, I'm thinking, wow, that's actually pretty good. And it was just so hard. And there's this video of me that exists where there was this RAF paratrooper type person who was filming, and at the bottom of Pinnacle Ridge, so when you go up Pinnacle Ridge on St Sunday Crag, they put a bit of rope in so that you can, like, not fall off, basically. But somebody had stolen the rope, so you just had to, like, do it yourself. And there's, like, amazing photographs of, like, pro runners, and they all look really impressive, where they're, like, skipping across these tiny little pinnacles of rock. And then there's me in this video, and the guy that was doing the filming was a guy called Ben, and I can't tell you his last name. I wouldn't even know how to find him now, but I could probably find the video. And he's saying, "Come on, Jenkins, you can do it." And I'm, like, literally sitting crying at the bottom. So I follow him up, and every now and again he sort of, like, pans back, and at one point is on this tiny little pinnacle where I'm sure there's a photograph of Rob Sinclair, like, looking really badass, like looking like the most amazing runner ever. And I was belly flopping onto that ridge with this woman, like, with her hand out trying to pull me up over these little pinnacles. So I was like, oh, there goes my amazing photograph of looking like a badass runner. But it was also driving with rain, and it was a little bit windy, so it wasn't probably the best time for a good thing. But yeah, I was really proud of myself that day. And then the next day I went and did another sky race, because I stupidly entered 2 in 2 days. So I did the Scafell Sky Race the next day, and it was glorious sunshine, and I had an amazing time because it was only 20 miles and super easy in comparison. So yeah, it was good. But sky races are brilliant because they mark it all out. You don't even have to navigate. You just have to follow these little flags and hope you don't die. It's brilliant. So yeah, I'm proud of that. I didn't get timed out. It was a miracle.
See, funnily enough, Jenny, my very first trail event was the 10K Salomon Skyline. Last year that they done it at Kinlochleven, and one of my friends had won 2 places and says, "Oh, I think you'll enjoy this the most out of all my friends." And see, that completely changed my course of running, because I'd done the Glasgow half marathon. I think it was like 2 weeks after. And I remember thinking to myself, I hate this. I just want to be back in Kinlochleven doing that 10K. And I know what you mean about the flags, and it was just a brilliant time.
Yeah. You're also a bit like, how did I get here? And where am I? Yeah, they're great. They're great races, really great races. It's a shame that, well, it's all a bit unknown now for Scotland. So this week's recent news about ARIA events, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, because obviously, like the Sky Race, there's the one in the Lakes and there's the one in Wales, so it'll be interesting to see if somebody takes it on in Scotland.
It'll be interesting to see when UTMB try and take it over.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is true.
And put the price up by about 4 times.
I know.
And then change the route last minute.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if what's happened. I mean, I don't know how much you know about UTS, but obviously I've got a lot of close friends that are involved with the race, and you know the national park have dictated like the routes for UTS, because there's so many people and it's a protected site. So, you know, they were told where, you know, they were categorically told where they were allowed those runners to go. So it is a shame. I do really feel for Ultra Trail Snowdonia just now. It's like it must be hard because it's not their fault, but it's just so many runners. And I think if that was to happen in Glencoe, we'd have the same situation, because I think it's already on the verge of the number of people being quite high as it is. So,
and there is a lot that we do have to preserve the land as well.
Yeah,
trails, they really are for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but then you can get, like, you know, there are other things like the long classics. You know, they barely fill. Like some of them are more popular. Like Stuka Croino gets a good turnout, but some of them are quite low in entries, but they offer the same thrill. It's just not flagged. So
it's terrifying, Jenny.
It's not that bad. I'll take you on one. Come and join me one day.
I think you'll need to. I mean, I was looking at the Hill calendar and I've looked at it the last couple of years and spoke to Beardy as well about it. And he's like, oh, just get one entered. And there's a tiny one local to me called the Waggy Whiz.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
It's only 7K and it's really not that much.
Oh, you have to do it.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
These sort of races won't happen without volunteers, first aid, etc. And you just said that you were doing first aid at D33 at the weekend just past. Tell us, how did you get into that, and what is the worst thing you've had to deal with?
Yeah, no, that was quite interesting this weekend. So there was Sean is on, I think he's on holiday or something. Anyway, so he gave me everything that I needed through Julie, and yeah, it was D33 was easy. We didn't have anything much to deal with. It was good, nice day. I do first aid through the Ultra community. So I went on, I mean, I've had a first aid certificate for years. I'm a first aider at work anyway, but I decided to do the outdoor first aid in Dundee with some of the other marshals from ultra races, and Sean Stone sort of organises it all for us, and then we get deployed in various races. So I'm in the medical team probably for the Devil, Highland Fling and West Highland Way this year. So I'll be at all three of those in my little green waistcoat, hopefully helping some people out. And I guess my experience in a school probably plays quite well to ultra runners, because it's usually moaning teenagers who are passing out or fainting or being sick. So that's much the same as ultra runners, I think the same temperament. And that kind of side of it I can deal with quite well. There is a story from the D30, from the Devil. It must have been about 10 years ago now. And I was helping out in first aid. And thankfully, Laura was there with Sean, and Neil was the main medic at the time. So I'd kind of been partnered up with Neil. And we were whizzing around the place everywhere. And then somebody had fallen and cut their hand open, and he had to stitch it back together. And all of a sudden there was a call that they needed to get a cup of tea with lots of sugar in it quick to the medic tent. So in rushes Laura with a cup of tea, and it was for me because I was so squeamish. I couldn't cope and I just went white. So what I've learned about being a medic is I'm quite good at anything that doesn't involve having to stitch somebody back together. Like the blood bit, I'm actually okay, but it was just I've discovered that watching anyone getting needles, not my bag. The worst thing that I've ever come across, though, is probably when I wasn't working as a marshal, but I was a participant. And when I did Lakeland 100 a few years ago, the people in you've maybe heard the story, I don't know. But what happened is there's a bit in the race at Wasdale where there's no signal. So you kind of, all the trackers go off and then you sort of reappear later on in the route. So they kind of watch for that. So it's a bit of a dead spot. So you don't really want to come across any problems in there. And it must have been nearing midnight, I would have said, and we were climbing up out of Wasdale on our way to Buttermere, and I could see in front of me I could hear people talking and asking questions, and then the closer I got I could hear people saying, "Are you okay?" And then I could see that it was slowing down, and we were in like a total queue at this point of people because it's quite a big race, and that's quite early in the race. And I remember being annoyed because it was cold. And I hadn't put my jacket on. I just had a long sleeve top on. I was thinking, I'm going to have to put my jacket on, but it's a queue. I didn't want to lose. I don't want to get stuck behind anybody because I was wanting to push on because I was going for a faster time. And then eventually I came across legs on the path. And everyone was stepping over this man that was lying on the path, asking him if he was okay. And by the time I got to him, he wasn't responding at all. And I didn't really know what to do. And because I'm a first aider, I knew that I couldn't not, well, and a human, and I couldn't climb over somebody that wasn't responding. So I stopped and put my jacket on anyway. And then when I went to try and speak to this man, he was completely out. And I didn't know what to do. So I was trying to revive him, and you go and you do your first aid training. It's like, hello, can you hear me? That kind of thing. So I was doing that and trying to get him to make some sense. And I was trying to move him out of the way because people were now sort of trying to get past me and him. And then nobody was really stopping. And my friend Louise in the fire brigade, and Louise Greenwood, she's in the fire brigade, and she was behind me. And then when she got to me, she was like, "What's going on here?" And she was amazing. At this point, I'm now crying because I went into shock because I couldn't get him to speak, and he was totally grey. He looked dead. His lips had gone like dark blue, and it was dark. And it was windy and it was raining and I couldn't, and I was doing all the things in the book, press to see if the blood comes back, and it wasn't doing anything. And he's lying on a rocky path and I'm like trying to get him in the recovery position, but I don't think he's breathing. It was just like, it was wild, and you couldn't hear the breath. You couldn't see his chest moving. I really did. I was like totally panicking, and it must have been minutes between me finding him to Louise coming up to me, but it felt like, I don't know, it felt like an hour. It was horrible. But she just went straight in, and she could see that I was stressed and was panicking, so I was like, wasn't communicating very well. So she gave me she had a big jacket. She just pulled a big jacket out of her bag. She pulled a bivy bag out of her bag, and she was getting him into the bivy bag. And she gave me her phone and told me to go up she said, time it. I want you to go up as fast as you can for 10 minutes and see if you get a signal. And if you get no signal, come back. And in the meantime, another Scottish runner actually had stopped. So there was now 3 of us So she was like, we'll do this, you go get help. So I went up, did exactly what she said, went up for 10 minutes, and then just to the top at the crest of the hill, still no signal. So then came back down, and by the time I came back down, they'd got him into the bivy bag, and he was starting to come to. And it was actually what was wrong was, well, he was cold, so he was probably hypothermic, but he hadn't eaten anything. And I can't remember how many miles, Mike, you'll know better the stats of that race, but it must be about 20 miles, maybe, is it? No, maybe not even that. It's not massively far into the race, but in time wise, if you start at 5 o'clock, is it 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock the race starts? And we were now midnight, so you hadn't eaten anything for 6 hours. And it's not massively difficult terrain, but you're still out for a long time. And it turned, I think he just hadn't eaten enough and then got very cold, and he was in little shorts and a t-shirt. So by the time they'd heated him up. So I learned a lot that day. I actually got some counselling. Beardy organised counselling for me through Mountain Rescue, actually. And it was really great. And they phoned and they spoke to me, and they're like, you know what, everything you did, was right, and you've learned loads and you've reflected loads on what you would do, and actually all worked out quite well. And in the meantime, we'd got other people to get help at Buttermere. So Mountain Rescue did get called. There's now new safety protocols in the race because there wasn't a sweeper, and the trackers, we'd set the alarm off on the tracker, but they hadn't been, at that time, they didn't use that safety protocol in the race. So it had flagged in their system, but there wasn't a person to pick up the flag. So nobody knew that we'd needed help. And then myself and Stuart and Louise, the three of us, got him off the path, basically, and we basically escorted him down to the last checkpoint, back down to Wasdale, and they were just about to leave the checkpoint by the time we got there. So really lucky, because actually Mountain Rescue hadn't at that point been alerted. So I don't know what would have happened to him. Anyway, we got a free place in the race, so I'm doing it this year, actually. So I'm going to have another bash. But yeah, so I'll see how that goes. But it's pretty crazy. We then legged it all the way back. So we ran all the way back to Buttermere, but we missed the cut-off by like a minute. I know, it was good. But we'd used all our stuff. Like, I'd used all my safety equipment. Everything was soaking. And had done an extra 10 miles. Something mad like that. By the time we'd run up and down and fannied about, and adrenaline, like, I think if we'd carried on, we would have we could have easily got into trouble ourselves. So it was good that we didn't finish, but it was a bit sad. So that was the worst thing I've ever seen. So it sounds a bit dramatic. It wasn't actually as dramatic in the end, but you just, I don't know, when you come across somebody in the wild, I felt a bit like that, and like when you do all these things, first aid courses, you're in like this really fake environment where like it's really easy because they're already lying on, usually the resuscitation doll is on its back, so it's like all set up exactly how you'd want it. It's kind of weird. So yeah, there you go. That's the worst thing I've ever come across. And he was okay, the guy.
Good. Have you talked to him again since?
Yeah, he was raging. He was absolutely raging because
you didn't stop his Garmin.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't actually. We let it keep going. He didn't believe us that it was that bad. So, yeah, never mind. I think maybe he's got over it now, but yeah, it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary from our point of view, and I'm really glad that not only was the three of us, but actually a few other friends had stopped, because I know quite a lot of people that do that race, and a lot of people had witnessed it. Because the first thing you do, I don't know if you two are like that, but when somebody says, "Oh, that's not what happened," I'm like, "Oh, was I wrong? Maybe I did it. Maybe that didn't happen. Maybe I made it all up." You just start like doubting yourself instantly. But thankfully, Stuart and Louise both were like, yeah, that was, they were both involved in it. And actually, they spent more time with him. Louise was really worried for a while. She was like, that was a lucky escape that we got him when we did.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And possibly on a lighter note, if you imagine this, if you were marshalling, doing first aid on a hill race, and
Yeah.
somebody came up to you, they'd fallen over during the last leg, not their last leg, but the last leg of the race.
Yeah.
And they had blood dripping down their leg, and they'd taken a bit of duct tape and patched up their wound. What would you say to them?
Go see Neil.
Well, okay. So I know what Mike's referring to. So when I did the Ben Rennes hill race, I might have fallen on the descent of Ben Rennes, and I cut open my knee, and I put a bit of duct tape on my knee to hold the skin on. And when I got to the marshal, they said that if I carried on, I'd be disqualified. And I carried on, and when I got to the finish, I had to go to hospital and get stitches, and then I got banned from the race. But they let me back in now, so it's okay. It was really bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. I was so adrenaline fueled, and I feel really bad now. Like, yeah, that was a lesson. I got really told off, like really told off. So yeah, but I don't think that happens in ultras so much. I don't think people, or it didn't happen so much in those days that people were so rude as I was. Do you know though? I do think about it quite a lot. I do feel really bad because I've never been able to find who that marshal was, and like I think I thought they were joking. I honestly didn't realize it was so bad till I got to the tent, and actually the hospital staff in Dufton were delighted because they marshal the race every year and they never get any injuries, and they had a great time. They got the wire brush out and they got to inject my knee. They had a rare old time. The guy said it was one of the best years for him because he actually got to do some emergency surgery. Yeah, it was really bad. I couldn't run for months. It was 8 months I couldn't run for. Like the recovery.
How is the
yeah,
knee?
that knee's all right. My other knee's wrecked, but that knee's all right. Yeah.
Have you not got a good scar on that knee?
Yeah, I do have a good scar. Yeah. It's not very dark though. I was quite disappointed. He did a really good job of stitching it back together. Like some people have like epic ones. Like I have to actually point out some people. I'm like, look what I did. Nah. Oh, you're cheeky. I can't believe you brought that up. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
I'll look out for that when we go on our first hill, when we go on my first hill race together.
Yeah, oh God, that's so funny.
Oops. And you said that you're a school teacher.
Yeah.
And dealing with ultra runners are like school kids. Who's worse to deal with? School kids or ultra runners?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, they're both on par. I think I'm probably the worst to deal with at times. I was joking about that the weekend to the Monroes, Helen and John Monroe. They've seen me in some pretty interesting diva states over the years. Yeah. I don't know. It depends really. With school kids, the problem with school kids is they're making poor life choices sometimes. But with ultra runners, it's usually I'm just jealous of their pain, because it's always the same when you're marshalling. Like you're like, oh, I wish I was doing that, and then when you're running, you're like, oh, I wish I was marshalling. Like they're both equally hard.
You still question your life choices during an ultra though as well.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, but the kids have made a bad choice. The adults are wondering why they made that choice.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
So your reason for running to start off with was to lose weight. What is your why for running now?
Sanity. Yeah, I just really like it. I really like the whole. I've been like getting into poetry in the last few years. I'm quite interested in like nature poetry. I read this like really interesting thing once about somebody. I wish I could remember who it was. Somebody had written about it anyway, and it was about running in Nan Shepherd. And Nan Shepherd like wrote some books about the cairngorms. One of them in particular called The Living Mountain, and she was very like. I mean, I don't even know how old or how long ago it was. A very long time ago. She's quite a forward-thinking poet for her time, and she had this sort of like it's like this Shepherdonian way of thinking is what they called it, the person that wrote about it after her. And it's the concept that when you're in nature, like you lose yourself and you can, like I don't listen to music at all when I run. I haven't really ever listened to music that much. Maybe on roads I would, but not in the trails. And it's all about like really focusing on your senses and like what's going on around you, or trying to like you become like almost like transparent, like you just don't you lose yourself completely. And I quite like that kind of idea, and she wrote about that a lot. So a lot of what Nan Shepherd wrote about was about what it's like to be in the cairngorms and what it sounds like and what it smells like and what it feels like and what the seasons are like, and just about losing yourself in that environment. And I think that's the closest I could get. I'm not very good at writing, but the closest I could get to feeling that is when you're out running in the trails. And I think for ultra running, it takes a long time to decompress all the stuff that goes on, like your various roles from like work. Like I find my work quite stressful at times, and then all the home stuff, and then all the other bits and pieces that you fill into your life. Like how do you strip all that away and process it all? So yeah, that's my why now. Try and be a bit more like Nan Shepherd and find that zone of peace. It takes a long time, so I have to run Sidlaw way 40 miles to get there. Maybe that's why you run so much, is it, Mike? Do you need to do like 50 million miles before you find some zen space? I'm not sure I could do that far.
The next question on the list, that might be the same answer. And it is, what do you think about when you're running?
Well, yeah, that's it, exactly. Just starts off usually that I don't want to be doing it. I never want to go running anymore. And I don't know if that's just getting old or if it's because the weather's absolutely diabolical in Scotland at the minute. But once I get going, yeah, it's just thinking about all the things, all the jobs I didn't do today, all the jobs I have to do, all the things that need to be done. And then by the time I've worked through all that list and figured out how I'm going to fit it all into the Jenga of life, just nothing, just peace. Yeah. And then hang on to that for as long as possible. Yeah.
And we've spoke about you've got volunteering roles, first aid. You alluded to you would be doing the devil as eventually. Is that a cert that you'll be there? What have you got coming up?
Oh, for me, for running.
For volunteering.
Oh, volunteering, yeah. So I'll be at the Devil and the Fling and West Highland Way. That's the three I've committed to already. I've filled in the spreadsheets. I've signed my soul away to Noni and John and Sean for West Highland Way. So yeah, it's on.
I really hope not to need your services at the
Fling. I will be shouting at you all to keep moving.
And what about running wise?
Well, I've got Lakeland 100 in July, so yeah, I've got Lakes Mountain 40 coming up soon. I think. I don't know. I don't even know when that is. Like next month, maybe. Yeah, I've got Lakes Mountain 40, so I'm doing that so it's like 40 miles in the Lake District. That's a week before the Devil. So that'll be good. And then I'm doing the full tilt. I've never done it before in Blair Athol. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I've never done it either, so that's going to be interesting. So I'm doing that. And basically, I chose 4 ultras that I thought would give me like the right hills and some miles before doing Lakeland, so that I don't have to do any actual long runs at home. So yeah, that's it really. So that's the plan.
Bucket lists. Do you have a bucket list? What would your dream race be?
I don't really have a dream race. I mean, I guess Bob Graham. I keep talking about it. I'll do it one day. I really want to do the lap Anglesey. Like we've got Matt's, my husband's got his like family histories from Anglesey, and we've got like a place that we stay there, and you can run around the island. It's like 130 miles, maybe, give or take 5, don't know. And it's just a coastal path right around the island. So I want to do that, which would be good. I did half of it last year, but I wasn't fit enough, so I had to stop after 60 miles. But it was good. I really liked it. It was totally different. No hills. It's just a coastal path. But then I realised it's a bit like the coastal path near you, Mike. There's actually more hill in it than you think. Because actually, by the time I finished, I'd almost done the same height as I would have done at Benny had I done the same distance. That was quite interesting. So I'd like to do that, but it's not a race per se.
I think people don't realise that most coastal paths is never flat. You're always going up or down. It's
quite hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to be really easy. I was like, oh yeah, I could do like a really easy 100-miler. Just go and run around this coastal path. Yeah, it didn't quite turn out like that. Yeah. So I'd like to do that.
I'm laughing at the sentence easy 100-miler.
I know. Well, I said that about Muddy 100 as well, and I swore I'd never run again after that. It's like, oh my goodness.
To be fair, the West Highland Way is runnable for the most part.
Yeah, I'll never do it again either. Oh, yeah.
Well, the track 100 Mark Cobain's event,
nope.
you get an extra hour because the clocks change.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well, you get 25 hours rather than 24. So.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's completely flat because it's on a track.
Have you done that one?
No, because I've got no interest in doing a track race.
But you'll run across a bridge for
and through a tunnel.
Hours. Yeah.
And up a hill.
Oh, yeah, and that one. It's such a weird. I love it.
Do you not fancy that one, Jenny?
No.
The hill?
No. I don't. I did that. I did that at Dunedere, like my local hill. I tried to run up it for 24 hours. I couldn't even do that. I got so bored. I find it really, 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 like the one thing that I find really hard is in like monotony. Like I find Glenmore 24 really difficult. I tried Saltire last year and I just couldn't do it. I really struggle with doing the same thing over and over again, and also coming back to a checkpoint like regularly. It's my willpower to carry on when things get difficult is quite low. Like I do quite like quitting. It's yeah. I don't mind quitting.
Going back to the previous question, I think you think too much when you're running.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. I think about not running a lot when I'm in a race. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, Mike had to crew for me for D30, not D33, for Glenmore one year, and yeah, that was really difficult.
For you or for Mike?
Well, Mike, I think, found it quite entertaining because he just didn't let me in the van. It was just, yeah.
I had zero sympathy.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was hard. I'll never do that again. So I'll be marshalling at that next. I'm just going to make a list of all the things I'm going to now help at. Be much better. Yeah, that'll do.
So this next question, I'm actually quite excited because for some reason, the way the questions always land, Mike usually always gets to ask this. So I'm happy I get to ask you this time. So it's one of our favourites that we like to ask, who would you like to run with? And it can be anyone in your head or in your life, or who would be your perfect running buddy?
Can I have two people?
You can have as many as you want.
Can make it a group run.
I would genuinely been getting into poetry, and I would be interested to see how Nan Shepherd, like, because I don't know if you've read any of her work, but it's all quite, well, sometimes it's quite hard, but mostly like it makes me think that she's I'd love to have met her actually. I wonder if she was as airy fairy as I think she was in my head. But I wonder how she would view the Cairngorms from a running perspective rather than somebody that walked there, because I find walking and running quite different and invokes like a different, like it's just a different viewpoint on the same thing. So I'd quite like that, but I think I would get quite bored because as much as I love poetry, I'm not massively into reading or enjoy listening to it a lot. So I think if she was talking like she writes, I would get very bored because I couldn't read a whole book of hers in a sitting. But I'd love to take somebody, like maybe somebody like Kenton Cool. I don't know. Do you know who Kenton Cool is? He's I think he's climbed Everest like the most times from anyone else in the UK. Like that's his main job. He's an adventurer and he does run and he lives down in England somewhere. And I started listening to his podcast in lockdown and I kind of really like him. He's like quite full on and he's obviously like, yeah, he's very full on and quite he's very enthusiastic, and I think he'd be quite fun to go running with. I think he would talk a good talk if you were out running, and he's got loads of stories like of climbing and being around the world, and I think I could just like quite happily like listen to him wittering on. Like I quite like that vibe. Yeah, that would be my two people.
And our next question is not one of ours. It was set by previous guest, Bob Turner. And it is, if your running shoes could talk amongst themselves, what would they be saying about you?
That I never wear the right shoes and I think my shoes would be pretty pissed off with me because I always wear the wrong shoe. I always wear like my really nice mountain shoes and then end up running like 20 miles on tar in them. Or this weekend I wore like really stupid shoes and then ended up having to run across quite a lot of snow, which wasn't expected, and I was just slipping everywhere. So I think they were pretty pissed off with me. Yeah, that's a really hard question to answer. I think they would, yeah, and just general, yeah, abuse. Like I don't change shoes very often. I maybe go through 2 pairs of shoes a year. So they do get pretty wrecked and glued. I'm really into pair ups. Have you heard of pair ups?
Yep.
Yeah, I love pair ups. I buy a lot of glue and glue together my shoes quite a lot. So yeah, they get good value. Maybe they like me in the end because I've had them for so long, been through so much together. I don't even know, does that even answer that question?
You did. Definitely.
Yeah, it's quite a hard one. I think they just think I'm a bit of a fanny as well, to be fair. That's what most people say about me. So, yeah. There you go.
So,
Thanks, Bob.
I just have one last question, unless Mike has any others. and it's one that's not on the set, Jenny. It's one that came into my head as we've been chatting throughout this conversation. And once again, thank you so much for agreeing to come on. It's been such a good chat, and I am very inspired by your running and your journey. So the last question is, as a mum, teacher, runner, general badass woman, what advice do you have for us other mums that have full-time jobs and other commitments, just for fitting running into your life when we're so busy?
That's a good one. I think the hardest thing, if I'm honest, is we put a lot of pressure on ourselves in the running sphere to perform and to always achieve or get to the end or do things in a better time. Or we should always, like we make training plans that are quite rigid, but we don't live rigid lives and things change all the time. And I think certainly it's something I'm getting better at, but it's being able to be kind to yourself and just trying to remind yourself that actually it doesn't matter that so-and-so who appears to be very busy too has also managed to run all the things that they're meant to have run on Strava, that actually it's okay for us not to do that. And it's okay sometimes if you do stop, like you don't have to finish the race and you don't have to go on the training run. And if you need to have a night off, then that's okay too. I don't think we're very kind to ourselves when we get in this, especially at this level. Like anyone that wants to do or be involved in ultra races, it is very difficult because you have to be at a certain level to do that, So hats off. And yeah, be kind. Just be kinder. It is really difficult. And it's okay to say, you know what, can't do that today. And I might not do it this week. But you know what? I'm not the worst person in the world because I didn't do that 10K. Yeah.
Well,
that would be it.
You have been kind with your time tonight. So you've been kinder to us. And just for me to say thank you, Jenny, for coming on. Thank you, Nikki, for being Nikki. And hopefully you enjoyed it. You weren't as boring as you said you were. So it's goodbye from me.
Thank you. It was really lovely.
Jenny.
Thank you.